Mahakassapa takes refuge, the worn robe and the beginning of simple practice. On the road between Rajagaha and Nalanda, a solitary seeker walked in search of a true teacher. He was Kassapa, later known as Mahakassapa. He had already left household life behind. In an early discourse, he remembered thinking that life at home was crowded and dusty, while the homeless life was like the open air. He shaved his hair and beard, put on the ochre robe, and made an outer robe from pieces of discarded cloth. He did not leave because he hated the world. He left because he wanted to give his whole life to a path that could not be practiced carelessly. At that time, Kassapa had not yet met the Buddha. He dedicated his going forth to the awakened ones of the world and continued searching for the teacher he could truly follow. One day, near the Bahaputta shrine, he saw the Buddha seated beneath a tree. No long sermon had been given. No ceremony had been arranged. Kassapa simply looked at the Buddha and felt that the teacher he had been seeking was before him. He approached, bowed at the Buddha's feet, and said, "The Blessed One is my teacher. I am the Blessed One's disciple." Then he repeated the words, "The Blessed One is my teacher. I am the Blessed One's disciple." This was not a formal refuge ceremony. It was a direct declaration that Kassapa had recognized his teacher and was willing to place his life under that training. The Buddha did not accept such complete trust lightly. He said, "Kassapa, if someone who did not know were to say, 'I know,' or someone who did not see were to say, 'I see,' to a disciple whose whole mind was focused in this way, his head would split apart. But I say, 'I know,' because I truly know. I say, 'I see,' because I truly see." The Buddha then gave Kassapa 3 trainings. The first concerned how he should live with other monks. The Buddha said, "Kassapa, you should train like this. A keen sense of conscience and caution will be present in me toward the elders, those of middle standing, and those newly ordained." Kassapa was not told to respect only senior monks. He was to guard his conduct before experienced monks, those in the middle, and those who had only recently entered the community. The first training protected Kassapa from turning simplicity into superiority. His worn robe would mean little if he used it to look down on another monk. The second training concerned listening. The Buddha said, "Whatever teaching I hear that is connected with what is skillful, I will listen with attention. I will receive it, focus my whole awareness, and lend an ear." Kassapa had recognized the Buddha immediately, but that recognition did not make further learning unnecessary. The Buddha instructed him to remain a student. The third training concerned the body. The Buddha said, "I will never abandon mindfulness immersed in the body and connected with joy." The body was not presented as an enemy to punish. The Buddha did not tell Kassapa that pain was holy or that harsher treatment of the body would prove greater devotion. Walking, sitting, breathing, bending, and stretching could all become places of training. Without mindfulness, simplicity can become neglect. Without joy, discipline can become bitterness. The 3 trainings formed a complete beginning. Care for others prevented strictness from becoming arrogance. Attentive listening prevented confidence from becoming closed-mindedness. Mindfulness of the body prevented simplicity from becoming self-punishment. After giving this instruction, the Buddha rose and departed. Kassapa later said that for 7 days he ate the food of the country as one still in debt to the donors. On the 8th day, final knowledge arose. At another time, the Buddha and Kassapa went to the foot of a tree. Kassapa folded his outer robe of patches into 4 layers and placed it on the ground. He said, "Venerable Sir, may the Blessed One sit here. That would be for my welfare and happiness for a long time." The Buddha sat on the prepared seat. Then he said, "Your outer robe of patches is soft, Kassapa." Kassapa replied, "Venerable Sir, may the Blessed One accept my outer robe of patches, out of compassion." The Buddha asked, "Then will you wear my robe made from worn-out hemp rags?" Kassapa answered, "I will, Venerable Sir." Kassapa gave his patched outer robe to the Buddha and received the Buddha's worn hemp rag robe. The exchange was quiet. There was no public ceremony or promise of rank. Kassapa did not receive a finer robe. He received something older, rougher, and already worn through long use. The early discourse records the exchange and Kassapa's description of himself as an heir to the Dharma who received the Buddha's rag robe. It does not describe the moment as a royal transfer of authority. Kassapa accepted a visible reminder of the life he had chosen. The robe did not promise comfort or special treatment. It connected him to a practice in which clothing served the body without becoming a measure of human worth. If the robe produced contempt, its purpose had been lost. The early discourses later praise Mahakassapa for being content with any kind of robe. He did not use improper methods to obtain one. He did not become anxious when he received nothing. When a robe was given, he used it without intoxication or bondage. The same description was applied to food, lodging, and medicine. Contentment did not mean refusing everything. It meant that he would not flatter, pressure, manipulate, or compromise his conduct to obtain support. When nothing was given, his mind did not collapse. When something was given, he used it without turning it into proof of his importance. Mahakassapa's contentment was measured by his conduct before receiving, while receiving, and after receiving. He did not make himself small to gain favor. He did not resent others when support was absent. He did not become inflated when support arrived. Later, when Mahakassapa was old, the Buddha saw that his worn hemp robes had become heavy for him. The Buddha said, "You are old now, Kassapa. These worn hemp rag robes must be burdensome. Wear robes offered by householders, accept invited meals, and live close to me." This shows that the Buddha did not treat hardship as sacred by itself. Age and physical condition mattered. Mahakassapa explained that he had long lived in the wilderness, gone for alms. Worn rag robes, used only the 3 robes, remained of few wishes, content, secluded, and energetic. The Buddha asked why he continued. Mahakassapa gave 2 reasons. The first was that this way of life provided a pleasant abiding for him in the present. His simplicity was not a punishment endured with resentment. It had become a peaceful way of living. The second reason was compassion for later generations. Future monks might see that senior disciples still valued wilderness, alms rounds, rag robes, few wishes, contentment, seclusion, and effort. They might understand that a monk's worth was not determined by fame or the quality of gifts received. Mahakassapa continued not because every person had to copy him, but because examples shape what a community learns to admire. The Buddha approved his reasons and told him to continue wearing cast-off hemp cloth, going for alms, and living in the wilderness. The approval was not praise for pain. It was praise for a practice that brought Mahakassapa peace and gave later practitioners a clear example. Austerity can be useful when it reduces distraction and supports training. It becomes harmful when it damages the body without purpose, creates pride, or is forced upon people whose conditions are different. Mahakassapa's path was not a command that everyone must choose the roughest option. His worn robe did not make every fine robe wrong. It showed that dignity does not depend on fine cloth. The question was not simply, "How little do I own?" The deeper questions were these: what am I willing to do in order to obtain more? What happens to my mind when I do not receive what I expected? Do I use what is given, or do I use possessions to construct an image of myself? Modern life does not require us to dress in discarded cloth or leave every home behind. But Mahakassapa's example can reveal where unnecessary weight has entered our lives. We may replace something that still works because we fear appearing behind others. We may measure our worth through brands, upgrades, invitations, and visible signs of success. Simple living begins by separating function from display. Care for health, safety, family, and responsibility is not opposed to simplicity. The question is whether possessions serve life or whether life is organized around serving possessions. Mahakassapa's worn robe was not valuable because it was uncomfortable. It was valuable because it did not demand that he betray his direction. He could receive what came without becoming proud. He could lack something without turning that lack into resentment. He could use something without asking it to tell him who he was. Taking refuge began with the words, "The Blessed One is my teacher. I am the Blessed One's disciple." But those words became real through the way Kassapa treated others, listened to teaching, remained aware of the body, and used material support. Refuge was not only a statement about whom he honored. It was a decision about what would guide his ordinary choices. The worn robe did not complete that decision. It reminded him to keep living it. The story of Mahakassapa asks us to look not only at what we possess, but at the conduct surrounding possession. Do we bend our values to gain approval? Do we become bitter when another person receives more? Do we use simplicity to judge those whose needs are different? A worn robe can be a tool for freedom. It can also become a costume for pride. The difference is found in the mind and in the way a person treats others. Mahakassapa's first lessons kept his path clear. Respect every member of the community. Listen fully to beneficial Dharma. Do not abandon joyful mindfulness of the body. His simple life was not empty deprivation. It was a disciplined choice to keep unnecessary demands from deciding the direction of his practice. May you clearly recognize what is truly needed and what only adds weight. May what you use support your responsibilities without becoming the measure of your worth. And may the space created by enoughness give you strength to live by what you deeply value.